Lyric's World. Chapter 8. The thick shaft of sunlight that had glanced off the algae on the top of the pool began to fade. The rocks surrounding the cove of water darkened into a rich purple hue. Young Melodies still perched around the pool, rocks and spears in hand. Since the reel died, the cove had been quiet. One of the Melodies tied on a filter and slipped into the pool. "It is done," he cried as he resurfaced. The Melodies moved down from the rocks and gathered by the pool. The changelings surfaced one by one, still groggy from their metamorphosis. Hands pulled each from the waters, revealing shimmering tails striped with blue, green, purple, pink, and orange. The changelings were carried back into the tunnels of the mountain. "Where are they taking them?" Tahiri worriedly asked Sana. "They have changed," Sana replied. "They are being taken to the crystal waters where the elders live. But we must move them quickly. They are still very weak and can't be out of the water for too long." Anakin and Tahiri stood breathlessly at the edge of the pool. Lyric hadn't emerged yet. Then Anakin saw Lyric's bright red hair. She swam slowly to the side of the pool and allowed a group of Melodies to pull her from the waters. Her orange jumpsuit had disappeared, and her body was completely changed. Where her legs had been, a shimmering, multicolored fishtail now appeared. Several long gill slits lined her ribs, and her fingers were now completely attached by glistening pickwebs. Lyric smiled weakly at her friends as they helped carry her through the mountain. The passageway they traveled wound up into the mountain. The Melodies carried the changelings carefully, half running through the steep tunnels. Then suddenly their pace slowed. "Why are we stopping?" Anakin called out to the group in front of him. "Wraith," was the frightened reply. Anakin and Tahiri gently put Lyric on the rocks, then raced past the group of Melodies in front of them. They ran down the tunnel, following the stricken cries of a male Melody. As the tunnel veered left, they stopped short. The Wraith had already bitten one of the Melodies. The boy lay wounded but alive. Now the foul creature crouched on its haunches, snarling at the female Melody that had moved to stand between it and the boy it had wounded. It was Sana. "Sana, don't move," Anakin cried. But his warning was too late. The giant black rodent gave a throaty growl and launched toward the young girl, teeth bared. She dove sideways, flipping in the air, and landed on her feet. The infuriated Wraith charged again. This time Sana whirled sideways, spear raised. The sharp tip glanced off the Wraith's flank, and it whined at the burning pain. But it wasn't a mortal wound, and the creature turned again, thick brown threads of drool flying from its jaws as it snarled at Sana. When it charged again, Sana leapt back, and the Wraith's jagged teeth snapped on thin air. Then, using the split second the creature took to regain its balance, Sana charged. Her spear ran straight through the belly of the Wraith. The massive black rodent fell dead at her feet. "You used the Force, didn't you?" Anakin asked Sana, breaking the awed hush of the room. Sana turned toward Anakin, still breathless from her battle. "I don't know how I did it," she replied. "I just felt it." "You did it well," Anakin said with a small smile. Then he turned and followed Tahiri back to Lyric, whom they helped the young Melodies lift. The tunnel curled upward for several more minutes, then suddenly ended. It emptied out into an enormous cavern filtered with light from small holes in the sides and top of the rocks. The late afternoon sun played off the deep, crystal blue waters in the center of the chamber. The Melodies moved to the side of the waters that gently lapped at the rocks. They slid the changelings into the liquid darkness. Then the elders surfaced and called their greetings to the children. Their bodies moved swiftly along the surface of the water as their hands reached for the changelings, held them as parents embraced their children. Children who are finally home. Anakin and Tahiri watched as the elders celebrated the changing of their young. They leapt into the air and twisted and somersaulted before diving back down into the waters again. They splashed delightedly, their tails shimmering. Several elders perched at the edge of the pool and spoke with the children who had not yet been changed. They caught up on what had happened, eyed the Jedi candidates, and offered shy smiles. Anakin sensed that the elders yearned for the day when the next changelings would come safely into their depths. Because until that moment, they couldn't truly protect their young. "Will they be safe now?" Tahiri asked Sana when she came over to speak to her and Anakin. "Yes," Sana said with a sweet smile. "They are safe in the high waters. The Wraiths and the Purella cannot swim, and the reels do not come this high in the mountain," she explained. "Anakin, Tahiri," a voice bubbled from the waters. Lyric floated behind the Jedi candidates. She smiled happily at them and swam to the side of the pool. Thank you, Lyric said. I have heard how you fought the wraiths and Ariel. Are you okay, Tahiri? She said with concern. I'm fine, Tahiri replied. You saved not only my life, but the lives of several other melodies, Lyric said. The elders wish to reward you for your bravery. They asked me what would be suitable, and I suggested that you be allowed to come beneath the surface of these waters to speak with an old one, who we call the Keeper of Legends. He may know something about your strange symbols. Would you like to do that? Lyric asked. Would we? Tahiri cried. Wild Banthas couldn't stop us.